Thanks for joining me for this edition of the Journey with James show. On this edition, it's very special because we're talking about the trending stories that has been making headlines across the world, the nation, over the last few weeks. The crazy stories, the oh my God stories, the serious stories. We're all covering them today on the Journey with James show. And to join me on my special first edition of Trending Stories is a good friend of mine. He goes by the name of Speez in the Christian hip hop world. You can check him out on any streaming platform you get your music from. He has several albums that you can listen to. Really good music, good lyrics, good beats, good all that. So check it out wherever you stream your music. But he's joining me in a different light today to talk about the topics that are affecting us in this world. So join me as I talk to Speez about the trending stories. His real name is Ira, so I may use Ira in the show, but he goes by the name of Speez, Christian hip hop artist. So check it out. You're watching the Journey with James show. Many of you might know him as Speez. He is the rapper, good rapper. He just released the album last year.
Yeah, called Godspeed too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, am I gonna get exclusive and some information that is a new album coming anytime soon? Or
I got a few projects I'm working on.
Okay.
One is called Soul Sessions, and it's just songs kind of with a soulful vibe and kind of just dealing with my testimony and dealing with current events and stuff like that. So slowly but surely it's coming together, being a person that has 3 kids and a wife and a job and other, endeavors that I do. It's kind of like music at this current time hasn't played the background, but it's something that I do when I feel it. When I feel it, I go on a little streak, and then being able to just kind of put it all together myself from the vocals and the lyrics and the mixing and mastering. I've kind of laid back on production. My guy C Life on the beat, shout out to him. He does most of my production. Good friend of mine, and that's the kind of space that I want to work in with. It's not necessarily who can take me to the next level in my career, whatever, is who do I work with organically? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna try to get it done before the end of the year, but I would say it's like 60 to 75% done already. So
that's pretty good, man. You sound like a creative to me. Creatives, we got our own thing, man, and we gotta feel it. It's not so much about doing it, but you have to really feel it to be into it.
Yeah.
And that's what a creative does. And so I can identify with you on that, man. All right, man, let me stop shooting the breeze. Let's get into some topics, man, that's going on. We're going to stop in the state of Ohio, man. It's crazy. One of the stories that's been mentioned is, I think it's 1,000 students, not students, but kids, which should be students. 1,000 kids are missing in Ohio this year alone.
Yeah.
And there's a surge of missing kids in Ohio. What in the world? What's this story about?
Well, I was researching into it, and they say it ranges from kids that's gone missing to runaways, and so it's kind of like one of those things, like, even if they're runaways, what's giving them that, that urge or that need to run away. And that's something that kind of resonates with me very well, because when I was that age, when I was in middle school and stuff like that, I had thoughts of running away, and it's primarily for me, it was because I wasn't getting the attention that I wanted. My mom, she in Chicago, she had to travel into downtown Chicago, so that's like an hour and a half commute to and back. So when she gets home, only thing that she can do is prepare food for us and try her best to get some rest and get ready for the next day. And my father wasn't around. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like they're not getting the attention that they want. So they may run away, but then when they run away, they may not come back. They may get caught by, some abductors or something like that. And it's not like when we were kids where we can just go outside and play till the street lights came on. It's like these kids, and you would think that it wouldn't be this way because so many surveillance cameras and the advancement of technology, but it's like that, man. And I just think it's just sin in general it's just growing in our world, in our country. You know what I'm saying? And so it's sad, man. I think I read a report where it was like 40 or close to 50 this month that have just disappeared. So it's something that it's kind of like you want to do
50 in September, because I know this is going to air. It's going to be October. You're talking about 50 in the month of September?
In September, man.
Wow.
And it's something that we don't want to just brush this off, because we may live in a different state with different, different situations. But I just think my kids, I can't even let them play outside without in the front yard or backyard, without having a camera on them or checking on them every 2 to 3 minutes. And it's a shame, man. Because when I was young, I was able to just go until the street lights came on. Yep.
They made us go outside. You gotta get out them doors. Yeah. Don't keep running back and forth in the house. You get in trouble for doing that.
That's right.
All the air out. All my air out.
That's true.
But that was the good times, man. And the biggest thing, out of the whole thing, what concerns me the most is sex trafficking, because that's on an uptick right now. I mean, some people watch The Sound of Freedom. This thing is real. And so a lot of these kids are maybe snatched up for sex trafficking, but also the ones that run away, they're sustainable to getting snatched up as well. Yeah. And so we really need to be vigilant, and we really need to be praying, because this stuff is real. And you wouldn't think that people will be so evil. I mean, some people are naive to believe that. I used to believe people wasn't evil like that. But the truth of the matter is, people don't care nothing about you, don't care how old you are. It's all about making money. And if they can do sex trafficking as a way of doing that, they're going to do it. Yeah. And so it is very alarming that's going on in Ohio. And this is in Ohio, but I can imagine that all the other states that could be dealing with something like this as well, man. Yeah, crazy.
Definitely.
So I don't know what can be done to help that. I mean, the report says that it says here that the Attorney General repeated on Monday that the number of missing children is alarming, but they said that some of these numbers that we're saying 1,000 was missing and all that stuff, could be a little bit inflated. But the fact of the matter, a lot of them are missing. You said 50 just in the month of September. That's big.
Yeah, I strongly believe it. It starts in the home, man.
It starts in the home. Yep.
And it's a shame that this world kind of takes the attention of the parents, whether it be work, and then when you get off of work, it's just kind of decompressing from work and not really understanding that you have children who are kind of like similar, like a blank canvas that you are supposed to be training in the ways that they shall go. And it's kind of like you feel like you don't have the time, or you feel like you're exhausted. You feel like you don't have, any help in things like that. And so it starts in the home. And a lot of times, if the parents are not on the same, on the same situation, or even close. I mean, you got to be close. Like, okay, this is enough. Even if you're married or separated, like we got to be on the same page when it comes to the kids that are close. We can't be yin yang, father not in the house, or should I say father not in the equation. It's okay if the father's presence is there, that's fine. But if the father just don't want nothing to do, and I think it's just that, man. I just think it's just the parents, and in this case, the parents in general. In a lot of cases, the parents in general are missing, and the grandparents are raising these children. You know what I'm saying? And so the grandparents can only do so much. In a lot of situations, you see parents, in particular women, who are nurturers. Right. And when the discipline is supposed to happen, the man is not there, and the nurturers will naturally kind of give in to the kids. And that's what kind of happened when I was young too. So
bro, I can
it truly takes a village to raise children properly. And that's how God designed it. And when you get outside of God's design, there's consequences for it.
Well, I can say that as a person that's divorced and has 2 kids, I can see the challenges in that, because they're with their mom and then they come with me, and we pretty much we're the same as far as how we raised them. That nothing's really changed there, but it's different. She's a woman, I'm a man, and we have different styles of discipline, and I know that. And so they need what I've learned is kids need structure.
Yeah.
They may not say they need it, they may complain or whatever, but they have to. I found that kids absolutely need structure.
Yes.
And so when they're with me, my boys are with me, they have structure. They have certain things they do at certain times. They know that at a certain time you can't do this, can't do that. They have to do chores, they have to do this. And that's what they need. They need that structure, and they need a father present. I cannot say it enough. I see the reason why they need that father. They need that father for that direction. They need that father for that push. You know, mom's going to nurture and different things like that, but they need that father to be in that equation of their life. They have to. And like you said, it doesn't matter. I mean, the fact of the matter is we're separated. We're not together. So it's different households. But the fact is, I'm making an effort to be in my kid's life. And I think for all the fathers out there who are not making that effort intentionally, I say shame on you. Yeah. Okay. You create these children. You help create these children. You need to take care of your responsibilities. Yeah. And if you're not with the parent, the girlfriend, the wife, or whatever, it's okay. Yeah. What's not okay is not making an effort to be in your kid's life. Now, for the ones who are trying to be in their kid's life and the mama is trying to block them, I'm going to pray for you, because that's even worse. Yeah. You know, they don't realize the damage they're doing to the kids by actually keeping them away from their father because they're bitter or mad with their father or whatever. Definitely. So it's so important, man.
And I commend you as well for doing what you are doing, even though you are divorced, because it wasn't really the relationship. I was just speaking from, a kid who, his father was completely out. It was his presence that was missing. I wanted to see him. I wanted to learn how to be a man from him. And my dad, and I always say, you got to understand the context of your parents as well to provide some grace to them as well. Because my dad, the way that he was raised, and my mom, the way that she was raised, could have been better. There were times, coming out of, situations such as slavery where things were, we were trying to get to stability. You know what I'm saying? And they, my grandparents went about it the best way they knew how, but that doesn't mean that it didn't take an effect on, my parents. Yeah. So putting myself, being able to empathize with my dad and my mom and coming to closure of their situations, right? And, tough stories that they told me. And I'm like, man, you went through that? That's what your dad did. That's what your mom did. And kind of feeling the pain from their situations helped me deal with, some of the pains I was having internally. So I thank God for giving me the opportunity in this lifetime to experience closure from my pains. And now I use that hurt and things to, to raise my children in a way that I'm like, no, then I'm not taking them down that road. And my prayer to God, isn't to be the richest man on the earth, is just to leave an inheritance of knowledge and wisdom to my children's children, that their children's children don't have to go through what, I've been through and what, you've been through and stuff like that.
Yes, I agree. And you know what? When you talk about that, it's grace. It's what it is. Giving grace to understanding that they were raised differently and they didn't necessarily had a choice. And that's all they know. They tend to probably repeat that. And so, there is grace for that. And I've learned that over the years, not seeing my actual father as much and different things like that. I've learned to have grace even in that, and understanding that very well it could have been some things that prevented it. But I feel like overall he does love me, and that we do communicate sometimes now. So I give it that. It took me a while, but I think that's important to extend that grace because it helps you to move forward and to do what you have to do. Yeah. And so I feel like you're a good father. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, man. Every day I'm trying to win father of the year of the day if I can. And I know some days I fail. But I feel like my children love me. They I'm just very mindful of how I treat them. I try to provide a balance in all things that I do with them. I try to, like the word says, train them in the ways that they'll go. You know, so whether it be, you know, I'm watching them like an eagle. You know, I got, you know, I'm watching what they watch on the phones. Me and my wife, we just encountered this this cartoon series that seemed to be innocent, but it had a lot of what's the word? A lot of background things of the LGBT
innuendos.
Innuendos of LGBT stuff, and women can be with a woman and stuff like that. And if you listen to the songs, they're very good songs, very innocent, but they have little, you know, innuendos of.
So the kids probably can catch it, but adults can catch it.
Yeah, and so we had to tell them you can't watch that.
And they don't understand. No, I want to watch it. You're a mean dad, you know.
They take it well because I try to always provide context for my children. Like always, you know, everything every day what I'm doing is for you. It's not for myself. It's for you. So if I tell you to stop watching something, and we're in a period where they want to get baptized and stuff like that, and I'm like, this is what God, you know, doesn't approve of, and you have this cartoon that's completely going against God. You got to do something. Well, they take it well. I mean, at this age, at 3, 5, and 7.
Oh, they take it well.
Yeah, they'll get over it. But
I'm a preteen.
Yeah, preteen, teenagers. I can only imagine. Man.
I have a preteen, and it's a challenge at times.
Yes. So I'm trying to provide, you know, that type of like, look, this is where we're going, that's where we're going, this is where we're going. So when they become preteens and teenagers, there'll be less resistance, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they'll know my heart in the situation.
Absolutely, man. I get it. So the whole in a nutshell, we need to be more attentive to our kids, making sure that, and you know, and I'll say this too. We talk about, you know, we come home, we're tired, we're just beat up. You feel these jobs are just working us to death? Like, could we go to a 4-day week? Could you possibly lay off some of these 8-hour days and have more time for the family? Do you think the job has a lot to blame for this, being tired and overworked?
Definitely. Working in two environments where production is the overall theme. Production. They're trying to squeeze as much out of you as possible. Yes, it could be you don't have time for your children at all. And when you don't have, I mean, even if you do have the time, you don't have the patience because there are things that are going on in your life that you may not understand, like the things that we consume, whether it be, you know, mentally, what we're looking at, or, you know, physically, they affect your health. And those things could be completely just like the reason why you're spazzing at your children because you're tired, or the reason why you just send them in a room and kind of have your time. And it's okay for them to have their time, but, you know, you have to spend some time with them, you know, of course, train, you know, like I said, train them in the ways that they should go. And we have to kind of understand that, right? And then understand that your peace of mind and your joy and your mental health is very important, right? I took a job that paid me a lot less simply because I was becoming or was about to become somebody that I didn't want to be. You know, and that's extremely important for you to find balance, just balance in your life. You can find balance and joy in your life. You can defeat all things, because a lot of people that are rich and famous, they don't have balance, you know, and they wish to be like people like us. They wish to be like normal people. That's the funny thing about fame and stuff like that.
And we wish to be like them, like it's crazy.
Yep. We want to be like each other and don't even know it. So I feel like God has blessed me to have balance and joy in my life. Of course, we have problems, trials, and tribulations and stuff like that, but it's not an extreme.
Right.
of either side. You know, I can go to a friend named James and ask him his opinion about a certain thing and get his true opinion versus somebody, because I have money and fame and notoriety, that they are going to say yes to everything. And now I can't trust them to have a wife, right? And not being able to trust my wife because she might take me for half of what I got. You know what I'm saying? That's balance and joy. So being a normal person is a gift, and people don't even like really realize that.
They don't realize it. I know not too long ago, Bow Wow was mentioning, and I believe the story is true because I've seen it somewhere. Well, he was actually wishing that, you know, he didn't go to prom and all that kind of stuff. He wanted a normal life in some ways. He was a little bit jelly about it because he wanted to experience that thing. So you think that the rich got it made and that they have no worries in the world. They don't think of these things, but they're feeling just like us. Like we want to be rich and all that stuff, and we'll be fine. But they want to be normal and experience life.
Yeah, and artists like Eminem, they speak about that in their lyrics. Artists like J. Cole and a few other artists, they go to different countries.
Wow.
And may not understand how famous they are, just so they'll be able to live a simple life. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, a lot of people say it's not the destination, it's the journey. Right? And so their journey was probably more, they felt more successful in their journey than their destination now. You know, but as a normal person, as a person that can wake up and walk around and not have to deal with the pressures or people, you know, have an opinion about my every move.
Yeah.
It can be a blessing and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I get that, man. Wow, that was good. That's a good discussion, man. We definitely can talk about that even more as the time goes. It'll be interesting to see if those numbers get even higher over the next few months before the year ends with Ohio. I'm definitely going to follow up on that. But also in Ohio, what's going on in Ohio? That's the first thing I want to know.
Oh, man.
Is there something in the air? What is going on? A strong man, you know, they say that spiritually, having a strong spiritual overtaking or something like that. But a former director of Ohio Memory Loss Clinic is accused by dozens of patients of falsely diagnosing them with Alzheimer's. Some people say Alzheimer's disease, and it has been sentenced on federal fraud charges along with the physician's husband.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. We are just money hungry. It's like it's a selfish thing, man. We're all about self. Yeah. And we don't care how we get it. We're going to get it somehow. So we have falsely saying that people have Alzheimer's so you can get money from that reason.
Yeah. I think the pharmaceutical companies, they're probably like $1 trillion industry. And whatever you have, they have a pill for you.
Everything.
And it's one of those things like, I always refer back to the Bible and try to always look to the Bible for solutions and things like that. Now I love some Motrin, don't get me wrong. Like Motrin to knock out the pain.
I love some Motrin. Yeah, like it's candy, bro. Wait a minute.
No, I don't take it like it's candy, but it be some rough days, man. But I also try to
smile on you, friend.
Looking, because you know we have everything we need, right, on this earth. So
right.
But we try to look into natural remedies, and these things are hidden from us. You don't turn on a TV and see an ad for, you know, drinking a concoction of lemon juice, ginger, and, you know, grapefruit juice to kill inflammation in your body. You have to actually go seek those things out. But the awesome thing about it is that God provides these things on earth for us. But the people that are doing this research, they're trying to put it in a pill. So it doesn't surprise me that people are, you know, doing this for Alzheimer's and things like that. Heck, it's things that it's things that they can do to prevent us from having Alzheimer's by encouraging more of a healthier diet. You know, I have in my family, my grandfather had Alzheimer's, And my fear is that one day I'll have it because I have a terrible long-term, memory. And but also high cholesterol, high blood pressure runs in my family. But I've done things in my diet to not experience those issues. I went to last time I went to the doctor, she told me if I can get an ideal male patient into this office, it would be you. Looking at your blood work, she said your glucose is slightly high, but she said that you are, what I would like to see coming into this office every day. And so that kind of encouraged me because I've cut out a lot of the things that you see on TV, the good foods. I love sweets, man. And I fight. It's a daily battle. I love fighting, eating cookies today, and things like that. I love cookies, man. I love cakes.
What kind of cookies did you have, bro?
Ice cream. Huh?
What kind of cookies did you have today?
I didn't have any cookies today, sir.
Oh, I thought you said you had cookies today. I thought that's what you just said.
I had some Oreos, and I got young kids, so we got all the snacks down there. We got cereal, ice cream, snacks, and cakes. So that's honestly one of my daily struggles. I've struggled with my weight since I was extremely young, and it seems like my body is extremely good at absorbing fats.
I think because we're getting older. Because I'm having
I was pretty heavy in middle school.
Okay.
It hit me early. And it was one of the summers I spent in Atlanta with my father, and I was just playing Super Nintendo and eating carrot cakes the whole summer and eating all that I wanted. And then when I came back to Chicago, my brother started calling me Big Boy. And that's when I came to the realization that I was even big. So it's something that
somehow when people tell you something, you start to believe it, and you didn't even realize it.
I didn't realize it.
People don't realize, I don't think race is a learned thing. So the babies, they were playing with all colors and everything. We're not thinking nothing of it. And then people say, you're not supposed to hate that person. You're not supposed to like them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, like I said, we as kids, they're our blank canvas. Yeah. Right. And we train them in the ways that they shall go. So whether it be diet, I have to get better with my kids on diet and making them aware of what they're eating. Because my son, my oldest son, he's a junior, and you could tell his body build is like me, and he's starting to throw down a little bit. So I gotta school him to nutritional facts. Because I didn't really start looking at nutritional facts until I was an adult.
Really?
Yeah. Carbs, sugars, calories. So it's one of those things that you gotta do early, man.
Yeah. I'm beating myself up now because I've gained, and I love to eat.
Yeah.
I love a good meal, and I used to be the person that I could eat anything and I grew. I was the one that would watch WWE. I think it was WWE back in the time when I was growing up. Monday Night Raw, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they would have the commercials about GNC weight gainer back in the day. I would tell my stepdad, like, can we get this? Can we get this? And, and I still didn't grow. And then all of a sudden at 27, I think when I got married, I started gaining weight.
Yeah.
I worked the overnight shift, a graveyard shift.
Yeah.
And I would sit, like you say, you sit down on the tender, you ate carrot cakes and all that stuff. I would sit down at like 2 a.m. I'm eating smothered pork chops and all kinds of ice cream and all kinds of stuff and sitting down for 8 hours on my job, man. So I see where it came from.
Well, let me tell you this. Maybe this will kind of help you out. Like, I really don't like the people who can eat all that stuff and they don't gain no weight.
Yeah.
It's a blessing in disguise though, because at least if you eating that way and you gain the weight, you got to say at some point in time, something got to change. But then it's people who eat all their life like that, and then they end up getting diabetes and they end up not being able to do nothing about it. So that's kind of like the blessing of it. Is like, all right, it's hard for me to get up out this seat. It's hard for me to get up out the bed. Like, my quality of life is not what it used to be. I got to do something. And that journey comes when you're ready to do it. Like me, I love to play basketball. So whenever you're jumping and it's a high impact sport, you feel it on all your joints. And the less weight you have on your joints, the less you feel it, the more you're able to play and the better you're able to play, especially when you start getting older. Like you can't jump with all that fat without feeling it. And that's where I'm at right now. It's like I feel it. So when I lose weight, I'm able to move faster. I'm able to get to my point quicker. As you get older, you get wiser in moves that you're doing. You're just not relying on your genes to lift you up like LeBron James. He got a few moves that he stick to now. Yeah. Even though he's one of the ones that still got that athleticism. But now, just like Kobe and Jordan, Jordan and Kobe had that fadeaway. You know, it's just one of those things like, okay, you can play even better when you're younger. Yeah. Now that you're able to put 2 and 2 together. Yeah.
Well, I think in a nutshell with this story, you know, pharmaceuticals are taking those things like you're getting diabetes and they want it. It's almost like they want you to overeat and just have all these problems so they can feed you.
Same companies.
Same companies.
A lot of times, same companies that own McDonald's, Burger King.
They all
own the pharmaceutical companies. Just like in music.
Yes.
Just like in music, the same companies that own these record labels, they own the private prison systems. Right? So it's just and not only that is the same these same people own the liquor companies. Right? And it's just the wealthy trying to get wealthier, but you have to come to the realization that there's an enemy that wants to put you in the grave early. Yeah. And that's when self-governing and taking care of yourself and understanding there's enemies out there, and God speaks about that in his word, that there's an enemy. Yeah. You know, and that's what he wants to do, is destroy you. So.
Man. Well, when they're convicted, the husband and wife team, they received nearly 6 years in prison on just past Tuesday. And one of them, the Sherry Ann Jenkins received 6 years in prison on Tuesday, while Oliver Jenkins got a 41-month sentence. And the thing is, U.S. Justice Department has said that Sherry Ann Jenkins was not even trained or licensed to provide any medical care, but presented herself as a doctor and billed patients for treatments.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's two sides to this thing. Like, first of all, the pharmaceutical companies love this because they can make money off you. But second of all, there are people out there that love it too because they can make money off of you. And so it's like the pharmaceutical person and then the regular person, like it's a dog-eat-dog world.
Yeah, man.
And we have more conversation to come with my friend Ira as we talk about the trending stories that are affecting our world and our nation over the last few weeks. So stay with us. You're watching The Journey with James show. Transparency. James is you are worthy. You are significant. James, it's okay. It's okay to be different. In the years after, how has the situation changed you?
I think overall you become more appreciative of the people that you have in your life. You love more. You live in the moment.
Encouragement and inspiration. I am very blessed to have this brother as my friend. Some people come into your life and you don't expect things and, friendships or whatever, but this happened naturally. Our friendship is a natural thing and is a good thing, man. He is my boy, man. He is a good guy. And I'm not saying that just to be saying it, but he's like that with everybody. Motivation.
The pandemic really just made me realize we do not have a lot of time. That when you really understand that, you start to do the things that you know that you've been called to do.
It's the Journey with James show. So speaking of sports, though, you had mentioned about LeBron and different things like that. Kaepernick, Colin Kaepernick, man. He's in the news. He stays in the news. Yeah. And so now this is word of him sending a letter to the commissioner, right? NFL commissioner?
Yeah, I think it was to the Jets. It was to the Jets. Okay, whoever owns the Jets.
Okay.
Written like a love letter.
I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it. But it's like a very a love letter. Trying to get business.
Yeah, man. So just to provide some context, you know, and I think his mission was very admirable in the beginning, definitely, because there were a few incidents that of police brutality that he wanted to protest in, right? And rightfully so. I commend him on that.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
it was necessary
Yes.
at that time because the NFL completely has changed kind of like their perspective on how they deal with that. Because I feel like it was a little brash in the beginning, like, you know, she probably or he probably did something and we're going to get along with football. We don't need any kneeling. But it became something important, essential that was needed. And then a few years have passed, and Colin Kaepernick brought up a storm enough to get a tryout for the NFL, to try out for teams. They had multiple scouts come to a location provided by the NFL for him to practice.
Yes.
And within a few hours of that practice, Colin Kaepernick decided to change it to a different location because he felt like they were going to try to paint him in a negative light. Yeah. Right. And it's one of those things like, okay, you want to try out for the NFL, then you have to work on their terms, and what happens of it, you know, what comes of it comes of it.
Right.
But it was kind of sketchy how he did it a few hours before he changed the location, hour and a half away. And mostly all of the NFL scouts couldn't make it. Right. Know? And he ended up not being on the team. And now, fast forward today, which is kind of corny for you to have J. Cole present this letter to the New York Jets to be on their practice squad. And it's like, okay, let's say if I work for James, right? And I sued James.
What?
You know, James Productions, right?
Journey with James.
After I get the money, I come back to James. Hey, James, hope all is well. Hope your kids are doing well, and I hope you're in good health. You know, it's been a while since I spoke to you, but I noticed that you still need somebody in that same position that I had, and I don't want to be the senior editor of your podcast. I could maybe come in and be the junior editor of your podcast. Like, you know, I see that there's a slide.
The nerve and the gall.
Yeah. And so it's like, all right, man, you had your time.
Took my money.
Now your whole protest and the things that you were doing seem a bit like sketchy now. Like you kind of ruin. Like usually when somebody protests an organization, they never want to deal with them again.
Yeah,
you know, being a facet of reconciliation.
Yeah,
you know, helping bring awareness to the cause that caused it within the NFL, but not just coming back and trying to be, you know, restored to the same position that you were in. So
no,
I don't know what your thoughts are on it though.
I agree with you, man. Honestly, I was trying to find something where I don't agree with you on that, but you're absolutely right when you put it in that context, because he had an opportunity at one point, but he did some different things in that. I mean, you have to. When you do different and you don't follow what you need to follow, you're going to have to deal with whatever comes with it. Yeah. And so now you're trying to get back in. I mean, you sue these people. You sued the NFL.
Yeah.
They're not going to have you back. You took their money. You're getting what are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's almost like the nerve and the gall, you know. Yeah. And I'm not saying anything against it. I feel like he's good or whatever. But in this context, even if it was a regular person, like somebody we don't even know, well known, and they did the same thing, it's going to be the same result. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Now, if they actually do that, that's a big thing of forgiveness. It's a big thing of grace. But the world,
they're not going to do it because that climate and that situation has passed. Now, I hear reports that had he just went through with it, he would have got on a roster somewhere. You know, for damage control purposes. Like, okay, let's showcase
that's
what
a
he
PR
can do
thing.
if he feels as if he still has it. You know, that's speculation. I can't say that I have a source.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
You know, but I think the time has passed. I think that the admirable thing that he did in the beginning was great. It was needed, you know. And he even got sponsorships from Nike and stuff at that time where he was able to do commercials, kind of bringing awareness to the situation. So he got his bag, but maybe his love for the game is still burning. That love for competition and the competitiveness, thinking, he still has something in the tank. But that's the sacrifice sometimes when you protest, but you got to understand that that's part of it. And if you read the letter, it's a little bit cocky how he went about it, because he brought up the situation. Aaron Rodgers got hurt, so Zach Wilson has been ushered into the starting quarterback when they prepare all this time, the whole offseason for Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback. And he mentioned in a note, like, I see that Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and Zach Wilson, even though I wish him well, I would just like to be on the practice squad, just to help him along. It was weird. It was awkward. It was kind of like, man, go sit down.
And just that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So one of the last stories we talk about tonight, today, or whenever you guys are watching, what is about that? You told me this story, and I'm like, what? It's crazy, but the dog, Biden's dog, he is constantly biting. His name's Commander. He's constantly biting some of the Secret Service.
Yes. This is the 11th known issue.
The 11th?
The 11th known biting incident involving the 2-year-old German Shepherd Commander.
Feisty.
Right? And it's kind of, and reading the article, it was Biden had another dog named Major who was involved in biting the Secret Service or incidents at the White House.
Man, that's Major.
Yeah. It's like one of those things, like, who's training these dogs, right?
Yeah, because Secret Service is going to always be there constantly, So they're going to have to get along. They got to do something. We got to figure this out.
Yeah, and I think
fighting Secret Service. So what happens?
If you look at Biden's whole presidency, it's just been the lack of a better term. It's been extremely ghetto.
I didn't know you was going to say ghetto.
And I don't mean it in the term of what is normally meant. It's just like a bunch of ratchet stuff happening.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Him falling, him not having any attention of direction of where he is, not being able to focus on the teleprompter, not being able to articulate himself to answer anybody's question and just say, forget it in the middle. And this just adds to it, like 11 times though. 1 or 2 times, like, Commander has tasted human blood.
I'll be mad. I'll be like, look, if I'm Secret Service, like, I can't do this. I can't perform my job well.
Yeah.
This is a problem. I keep getting bitten by this dog.
I know we might have some animal lovers, and I don't know much about
I love
dogs.
animals. I don't love you biting me though. Like that.
Yeah, like maybe Commander might need to be put down. He tasted human blood. He like, I like this. I like the taste of human blood. I'm gonna keep biting. And then, like, you the president of the United States. You have access to the top dog trainers. Like, what's going on? Like, is he just like, just let him be? Like, is he not giving Commander the attention, the training that he needs? And it's similar to having like a weapon, right? Yeah. Without having the training, like just waving a pistol around in the White House. If you got a man,
that's crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. Well, that's a story, man. I like to follow up on that one too, see if it goes past 11 to 12, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 20. Who knows?
Biden been getting all kind of passes. And honestly, I think
that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that we're living in an age where it's cameras everywhere.
Everywhere.
And these things might have happened with previous presidents, like from stuff you may have heard of Hunter Biden.
Yes, the
things like this have happened before, but they've been swept under the rug. It was easier to sweep things under the rug, and this is just
harder now.
Yeah, this is just a part of, you know, how being a president is.
It is, man. Other good topics, man. I thank you for joining me today, man.
Yes.
It has been
thank you for having me, sir.
Yes. Now you know you're coming on again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you go ahead and say yes. Thank you. God bless you.
We'll talk about it. I'll have my people call your people.
You're such a friend. Thank you guys for joining me. Sure to join me on the next edition of Journey with James. We got something special for you. So stay tuned for that. But also, always, you can look at past episodes at journeywithjames.net. Join me, like and subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com @ The Journey with James. And how can they reach out to you and your music, Speez?
Well, I'm known as Speez on all digital platforms. Most recently came out with an album, Godspeed.
It's really good.
On Facebook, thank you, sir. On Facebook, Speez Music. Twitter, Speez Music. Instagram, Speez Music. So y'all can reach me there.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. You take care. God bless you.
God bless you.